Uh-huh. Well, I will admit you are very attractive for a human. But you are getting well above your station now, and you would do well to remember what position you are actually in here. What, just because I took you to bed, suddenly you think you have some authority here? No, you don't. And you had better remember that. This is not your land to rule. You shouldn't even be here. Remember? Yeah, well, in the 2 days since you've been here, there is already rumors of a rebellion circling around the campfire. So, I have that to deal with, and that's your fault. You brought this nonsense to me. Now, I have to handle it. You? You think they would trust you? It's your fault that they're even talking about this in the first place. Why would they listen to you? As far as they're concerned, as far as I still believe, you're a spy sent here by your king. Then you had better tell me the real story, now, because I will not for 1 second tolerate being lied to again. Everyone knew about the war. Everyone. So what really are you doing here? You're joking, right? Please tell me you're joking. At least the I've never heard of the war thing was unique. You really let people bully you into breaking an international treaty? Really? Wow. You know, the silly thing is, as stupid as that is, it actually makes sense. A hell of a lot more sense than spy. You don't look like you have the training to be a spy. Uh-huh. Any spy worth their merit has to have been trained at least for a dozen years. Trust me, I have caught many of them. You, well, I wouldn't say youth is a flaw. It's very attractive on you. But it definitely betrays that you are not a spy. I am not in the position to take advice from someone who so foolishly wandered into enemy territory, hostile territory. You know, I've had an idea. I think I don't want to deal with this anymore, so I'm just going to let you loose. No, of course not. I'll keep your hands bound. You're still a criminal. But I let you run free, and maybe you make it back to your land before one of my angry, rebellious upstarts gets their hands on you. And I promise you it will not be as enjoyable as when I had my hands on you last night. Interesting. Are all humans like you? What do I mean? I threatened to let you go free, and suddenly you're falling in line. And this kind of information is, well, I don't know if it's useful, but I like it. Maybe there's hope for you yet. So, you were bullied into walking into hostile territory and immediately being captured. Was it worth it? Oh, come on, you were so talkative now you won't say a word. Why not? You know, I'm trying to be very considerate of the fact that you are in a very, very unfamiliar place now. But my patience has its limits. Do I have to remind you about the rebellion they are trying to stage right now? Made it up. Really? Is it orcs that are known for their manipulation and their subtlety and their treason and treachery? Really? No, I didn't think so. My God. You humans don't even know what you are, do you? Do you know the reason why you are in charge of the center of the continent? Why you have the best land and the best resources? Do you know why? Yes. Your god. That's what they tell you. If you believe such things. No. It's because humans conspire to gain power against each other, against everyone else. Really? So you've never had a boss who was worried that you would outshine them, that you would take the promotion they wanted, and so they sabotaged you? And so they sabotaged you? Or maybe it wasn't a boss. Maybe it was a friend, a former friend. Maybe someone you worked with on a project who thought you did too well. And if everyone knew that they didn't contribute as much as you did, they would lose out on something. And so, in their selfish desire for power, they threw you into the stampede. Are you more familiar with threw you to the wargs? That also, it means the same thing. They betrayed you for their own gain. Just like your leadership does. Just like it always has. Just like it always will. Why? Because it works. And because it works, they keep doing it. And it keeps reinforcing itself as the way humans live. You know this is why so few others even tolerate your presence. How do you think this war started in the first place? They would tell you that. And let me ask you this. Who stands to gain from your people believing you're king? It's not the soldiers who go to their deaths marching into war. It's the king and his advisors and the people at the top. They benefit at the expense of everyone else. Orcs, we fight for the right to lead. I'm here not because I was born into this position, but because I rose through from the bottom of our tribe to where I am now, with my skill wielding an axe and a shield and throwing a spear. I earned every single ounce of authority I have. Your king. Your king holds the crown because his daddy gave it to him. He didn't earn anything. He was given everything, and because it was handed to him like it was an afterthought, like it was just the way things are done, do you really think he respects the people that he's supposed to rule? How can he? He's never known what it's like to be you. What it's like to deal with the things you deal with every single day. No, he was born into a castle, a life of luxury, the likes of which you or I will never know. Ever. So he takes it for granted. Because of course he does. Well, how could he not? He's never known anything else. He doesn't know what it's like to wake up in the morning starving and wonder if maybe today is the day I'm not even going to finish that sentence because from the look in your eye, I know you understand what I mean. Your king. He has never been at that point. So how can he really, truly understand the people he rules who are still currently at that point? Don't think I don't know how bad it is over in that kingdom. Your king isn't the only one with spies. Your people are starving. And he sits in his castle, drinking wine, eating enormous banquets, having huge parties with his friends, with his family. And let me guess, your family. How many siblings have you lost due to malnutrition? As an educated guess. Because I know the reason why the king signed that treaty isn't because he wanted to. It's because he literally did not have the fighting force left. Because too many who would have been of the age of conscription had already been slain in battle, or lost to starvation. I told you I have spies of my own, and mine, they don't walk on 2 feet and get themselves captured. No, I'm not telling you. But I'm right. You know I am. I know I am. Your king cares so much about your country, but so little about the people in it. Is that really the type of leader you want to follow? Or would you rather follow someone who has been in your shoes, who has scraped and fought and bled to get where they are, and have the absolute experience and understanding of what it's like to be at the bottom? Someone has to be at the top. That's just the nature of things. But do you give it to the people who were just born into it, who can never really appreciate it, or the people who fight every day of their life to earn every scrap of everything they have? Then maybe now you understand what it is to be an orc. We have so little out here, and your king wants to take what little we do have. The silver mines, as if he has any claim to them. But they make pretty jewelry, worth a lot of gold. That's what matters to him at the end of the day. Me, I want to make sure my people are fed. We lead raiding parties, not because we want to have lavish luxuries, but because we need food. We don't have the land to grow farms here. We have almost nothing. And your king would lead another war to take what little we do have. From who? Your kingdom is starving. We can't buy food from you, and they never let us anyway. Who is going to believe a nice orc caravan coming up just to buy bread? It wouldn't work. Bullshit. We've tried it. It doesn't work. The other kingdoms, they have treaties with your king which forbid them from doing any deals with us, because we are savage, uncivilized barbarians, unfit for civilized society. Never mind that it's because of where we live, because we haven't been allowed to live anywhere else, that we have developed into what we are. The people who have everything keep everything, and the people who have nothing stay with nothing, because the people who have everything refuse to share. Not here. Never here. In fact, our last leader tried that. I emphasize tried because, well, my sword through his gut made sure he didn't keep that position very long. Yes, which is why this rebellion is a legitimate threat. If they take me out, you think they'll stop with me? They'll come for you, and then they'll use it as a rallying cry to go back at your kingdom which is starving and on the brink of collapse. It will crumble. I am doing what I am to protect everything, even your king, who I would rather see in the ground. What? You smell nice. Almost calming. Not a lot of that to go around here. Don't get a lot of that around here. It's actually kind of nice. You heard me out. And from the look in your eyes, I think you understand where I'm coming from. So, yes, fine. Give me your advice, and I don't promise I'll take any of it, but I will at least hear it. Or, actually, I have a better idea. I got all worked up thinking about the bad blood between your kingdom and mine. Why don't we find a way to blow off some of that steam, get some of that energy out? Would you want to say no? I don't think so. In fact, I can already tell from looking at you, you are quite excited by the prospect. So, why don't we put all the pretenses aside of what should and should not be, and enjoy what is? Hello, everyone. Star here, and thank you for listening to this video, audio, vadio kind of thing. There is an extended edition over on my Patreon if you'd like to go check that out. This is the second episode in the new Orc Queen series, and I am having a lot of fun with this one so far. It's interesting to me that, like, these quote mean characters are still fun to play. So the inspiration behind this story is, obviously, part one, it's related to it. But it reminded me of a conversation I had earlier today about how any big organization of any kind, if it gets too big, eventually loses touch with what it once was, And a lot of times these organizations, they morph into focusing on keeping the people at the top feeling in charge and on top of the world, and kind of ignoring everyone else. And it creates an interesting dichotomy, right? You have this one kingdom that's on the brink of collapse from starvation because the person at the top is hoarding everything. And then you have this other society where the people are on the brink of starvation because there literally just is not enough to go around because the land itself does not support it. So, of course, when you have two, quote, opposing sides that are already inflamed and angry and upset about stuff, that's easy to get them to go to war. It's easy to turn them on each other. Anyway, thank you for listening to this one, though. I love recording orcs. I do. I always imagined I'm in the Outlands. The old orc tribes of Draenor. That's what goes through my head when I'm recording these. Either that or, like, the Horde when it landed on Azeroth and settled in the very rocky, rough, difficult terrain. Something kind of like that. Actually, that's probably more accurate now that I think about it. Anyway, thank you for listening to the Nerdy Star Ramble at the end of the outro, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Mwah.